Welcome back, everyone, to another deep dive.
Be there.
Today, we're going to dive into something pretty remarkable, something that has a huge impact, especially right here in our backyard.
Yeah, right here in Sioux Falls and, well, all across South Dakota, really.
Exactly. What are we buzzing about today?
We are talking about the humble honeybee. Maybe unassuming, but incredibly mighty.
The honeybee. Okay.
And look, this isn't just, a chat about some bug. It's really about our agriculture, our economy, even our community, I'd say.
Right. So our mission, our goal for this deep dive is to kind of uncover some surprising facts, understand the vital role these bees play. We've done some digging, looked into it.
Yeah, we have.
And you might be genuinely surprised by how much these little guys shape your world.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
So let's start with the official stuff. How did a bee end up being such a big deal, like an official symbol for South Dakota? What's the story there?
Well, it's official, all right. The honeybee, the specific species Apis mellifera, that's the one, it was legally named our official state insect.
Okay. When did that happen?
Let's see, February 23rd, 1978. It's written right into the South Dakota Codified Laws, Title 1614. So yeah, it's been official for quite a while now.
40 plus years. Okay, so let's unpack that a bit. Why the honeybee?
Yeah.
Out of all the insects, why was this one chosen for South Dakota specifically?
That's a great question. It really goes beyond just being a symbol. The honeybee is, well, it's an economic linchpin for South Dakota.
An economic linchpin. How so?
Pollination. They are absolutely crucial pollinators for our agriculture. Think about key crops here. Alfalfa, those huge fields of sunflowers you see everywhere.
Oh yeah, the sunflowers are iconic.
Totally. And fruits, vegetables, too. And South Dakota consistently ranks like #2 in the entire U.S. for honey production.
Second. Wow, I didn't realize we were that high up.
Yep. We're talking somewhere between 12 and 21 million pounds of honey in recent years. It varies a bit year to year, but it's always substantial.
That is a lot of honey.
You bet.
Yeah.
And that translates directly into, significant economic impact. Just the honey production alone adds an estimated $28 to $29 million to the state's economy.
Just the honey.
Just the honey. But then think about the value of the crops because the bees pollinated them. That value is amplified hugely. We're talking hundreds of millions of dollars for South Dakota crops.
Okay, now that's where it gets really interesting.
Right. Nationally, Cornell University estimated the value added by honeybee pollination at something like $10.7 billion.
Billion with a B. Wow. That's just incredible. A massive impact for something so small you could hold on your fingertip.
Exactly. It's staggering when you think about it.
So beyond just, buzzing around flowers, how does that work? How does something so tiny create that much value? Is it just sheer numbers?
Well, numbers are definitely a part of it. And their efficiency, they're just tireless workers. Consider the scale here in South Dakota. As of 2023, we had roughly 212,000 honey-producing colonies across the state.
212,000 colonies.
Yep. And that was actually up 15% from the year before, 2022. So that's a good sign. Shows dedication from beekeepers, maybe growing awareness, too.
That's a positive trend.
It is. But, these numbers, they aren't static. They fluctuate quite a bit with the seasons.
Oh, right, like winter versus summer.
Exactly. So you might have around 93,000 colonies hanging on through January. Then numbers can dip quite low, maybe down to 13,000 or so by April as they come out of winter.
That's a big drop.
It is, but then they rebound. By October, we're usually back up around, say, 182,000 colonies heading into the next cycle. It's a natural ebb and flow,
Okay.
but it's definitely not all smooth sailing. Bee populations face some really serious challenges.
Like, what are the big threats?
The big one, probably the most infamous, is the varroa mite. These tiny little parasitic mites, they get into the hive, feed on the bees, weaken them, spread viruses. They can be devastating.
Ugh, mites. Yeah, I've heard they're a huge problem.
They are. And because of things like mites, diseases, sometimes weather or pesticide issues, beekeepers face periodic colony losses. It can range maybe 3% to 10% loss per quarter sometimes.
3 to 10% per quarter. That sounds really tough for beekeepers.
It absolutely is. Constant vigilance, adapting management practices. It's a real challenge.
So what does this all mean then for the beekeepers and, the future of honey production here? Are they managing okay, or is this a bigger crisis looming?
Well, our beekeepers are incredibly resilient and knowledgeable, but it does mean constant work and innovation. And it also highlights just how important these managed honeybees are, not just for honey, but for the environment more broadly.
How so? Beyond the farms?
Yeah. Think of honeybees as like an irrigation backup pollinator.
Irrigation backup. Explain that.
Okay, so in modern farming, sometimes the populations of native wild pollinators, other types of bees, flies, butterflies might decline, maybe due to habitat loss or pesticide use, things like that.
Right, that makes sense.
So managed honeybee colonies, the ones beekeepers bring in, they kind of step into that gap. They ensure those critical crops still get pollinated effectively, even if the wild guys aren't there in the numbers they used to be.
Ah, so they're like pollination insurance.
Kind of, yeah. For those essential South Dakota crops, we mentioned sunflowers, alfalfa seed, but also fruits like apples, berries, and vegetables like pumpkins and squash. They all really depend heavily on bees.
Gotcha.
And it's not just about our food. Bees also pollinate plants like sweet clover and rose hips.
Yeah.
Those are really important food sources for wildlife.
Rose hips, like for pheasants and stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Critical forage for game species right here in South Dakota. So the bees support the whole ecosystem, really.
Wow. It really hammers home how interconnected everything is, doesn't it? Our
Yeah.
food, the wildlife, the environment, all linked by these little pollinators. It's quite something for such small creatures.
It truly is. And supporting them, cultivating the buzz takes a lot of effort from the community and education side, too.
Like what kind of efforts?
Well, there's the state apiary program. They work really hard to foster cooperation between, say, farmers growing crops and the beekeepers whose hives might be nearby.
Oh, that's important. Like coordinating spraying times.
Precisely. Preventing pesticide exposure is a huge part of it, helping maintain hive health. It requires a real partnership.
That makes sense.
And then there are fantastic educational initiatives like South Dakota State University, SDSU, is officially designated as a Bee Campus USA.
Bee Campus USA. What does that mean?
It basically signifies a campus-wide commitment. They actively work on pollinator education, creating pollinator-friendly habitats on campus, raising awareness. It's a big deal.
That's really cool.
Yeah. And this commitment filters down to younger folks, too, through programs like 4-H. They have projects focused on pollinator science, even hands-on training for kids learning about hive care.
That really shows the heart of a teacher coming through in these programs, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Passing on that knowledge, that care. It's great to see. Protecting these vital little guys and teaching the next generation.
Absolutely. And, this isn't just something happening way out in the rural areas. It connects directly back here to Sioux Falls.
Oh, yeah. How so?
Well, think about the organizations that track all this stuff. The local offices for the USDA's National Agricultural Statistics Service, NASS, and several Dakota ag groups that monitor hive counts and agricultural trends. Many of them are based right here in Sioux Falls.
Okay, so the data hub is local.
Right. And beyond that, you can see efforts within the city, too. Think about community gardens, parks. You often see educational signs about pollinators, maybe promoting pollinator-friendly plants.
Yeah, I think I've seen some of those. Little bee symbols on signs.
Exactly. Plus, we have some really dedicated local beekeepers right here in the Sioux Falls area. They're not just producing amazing local honey, they're also actively raising awareness about issues like honey fraud.
Honey fraud. Like fake honey.
Sort of. It can mean mislabeling where it came from, or maybe diluting real honey with cheaper syrups like corn syrup, stuff like that. These local keepers are passionate about promoting the real deal, the benefits of pure local honey.
So it really does tie back to all the cool things happening in and around Sioux Falls. It shows how even something seemingly small, like a bee, impacts our daily lives, our food, our local economy, even the plants in our city parks. Puts a whole new perspective on hearing that buzz.
All right, this has been fascinating. How about we wrap up with some rapid-fire fun facts, some sweet surprises from the hive?
Let's do it. Okay, fact one. A single honeybee colony, one hive, can have up to, wait for it, 80,000 individual bees.
80,000, that's like a small city.
It basically is. You've got the queen, the male drones, and tens of thousands of female worker bees, all with specific jobs.
Wow. Okay, what else?
The worker bees, they have that famous waggle dance. It's not just random buzzing. It's a precise communication method. They actually tell their sisters the exact direction and distance to the best flowers they found. The waggle dance?
Right.
That's amazing.
Isn't it? And the drones, the males, their main purpose is to mate with a new queen. And they only mate once. That's their whole job, essentially.
One and done.
Pretty much. And the queen bee. She's incredible. She can live for like 5 to 8 years, which is ancient in bee terms. And in her peak season, she can lay over 1,500 eggs every single day.
1,500 eggs a day. That's mind-blowing productivity.
It really is. Now, thinking about the honey here in South Dakota, the main types you'll find are usually clover honey, alfalfa honey, and wildflower honey. Each has a slightly different taste depending on where the bees foraged.
I love good local wildflower honey.
Me too. And here's a weird one. Some beekeepers apparently have even experimented with producing green honey.
Green honey. How? Why?
Huh. That's a deeper dive, maybe, but yeah, apparently it can happen depending on what the bees collect. It's pretty unusual, though.
Okay, that's definitely a fun fact. One more.
One more big one. Bees are amazing navigators. They can fly out and forage for nectar and pollen up to 8 miles away from their hive and still find their way back.
8 miles. That's a huge range.
It is, and that large foraging area is partly why they're so effective at pollinating across wide agricultural landscapes. They cover a lot of ground.
Incredible. Just incredible.
So wrapping it all up, the honeybee.
Mm-hmm.
It's been our official state insect since 1978, like we said. Small size, yes, but just a massive, massive impact.
Clearly.
It remains absolutely vital for our farms, our ecosystems, for teaching our kids, and really for the whole rural economy here. That buzz, it really does echo that interdependence, nature and community working together, which feels very Great Plains, very South Dakota.
That's a perfect way to put it. And maybe a final thought for everyone listening. As you go about your day, just consider how even the tiniest creatures buzzing around us can hold such a big key to our prosperity, the food we eat, the beauty of our state. It really makes you want to stay curious about the natural world, doesn't it? And maybe appreciate that little buzz a bit more.
Well said.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive today. It was really enlightening. And remember, you can always check us out on social media at yourseasonedagent.com.
Thanks for tuning in.
And thank you, really, for joining us on our journey of fun, education, and building a community right here in this wonderful town of Sioux Falls. We'll catch you next time.